This is for the Ballerina title, Steve.
The regional title, the featherweight.
Regional title.
The featherweight strap that everyone wants. Here we go, Kyle Wilson from combat and exercise. Two things that do go together because you must exercise to combat and you must combat to exercise.
Oh,
you
he's
know what I
run
mean.
to the cage. He's run.
Oh, yes. There we go. That's what I want.
This is going to be really good. We've seen both these fighters before. Kyle Wilson, really good hands. Kind of good everywhere, to be honest.
Cinder blocks.
Yeah, cinder blocks. And then Matthew James, just every time we've seen him fight here at Ballerina, he's just got better and better and better and better and better. He's one of those, he takes his shirt off and I'm always like, holy hell, he's shredded. He always looks a bit nerdy when he's got his shirt on. And then he's a monster.
Unassuming. Yes, indeed.
But people don't realise, you win these Ballerina titles, you can go on to huge things. People that have won Ballerina titles have got UFC contracts, Bellator contracts, BAMMA contracts. This is, if you decide, I want to be a professional fighter, I want to be famous, I want to be a name in the newspapers, known by everyone as one of the toughest men on the planet, the way to start your career is here at Ballerina.
Definitely. If you're out there sitting at home right now watching, thinking I could do that, I'll call up James Price. Send him a Facebook message. Get yourself on the next card. Get yourself on Ballerina 51 and see if you've got what it takes to roll the dice with some of these guys like Kyle Wilson, Matt James.
Now Sophie's talking. Does that mean we're not supposed to be?
I think so. Oops.
Keep talking, Steve. Matthew James, friend of mine. I'm a bit biased here. Great guy.
Formerly from Russell Perks Martial Arts Academy, now representing Eclipse Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and hoping to bring back a title for his new gym. Well, not so much new gym, but his new home. God, this is going to be amazing. Both of these guys are so game. Excellent fighting records, both of them. Fill it out very well.
Matthew James looked so good in his last performance over in the show near Leighton Buzzard. Dunstable.
Outrageous, yeah.
Yeah. Looked absolutely stunning there, like so technical, great movement, and really dedicated to his training. He's like upped his game, he's just training constantly from what I've heard. Embrace the Gracie lifestyle, you know, Gracie diet, Gracie everything. He's
What is the Gracie diet?
You shouldn't mix certain foods. If you have fruit, you shouldn't eat meat near it because you've got different enzymes in your digestive system. And bizarrely, science is starting to back it up. You shouldn't eat certain food groups together.
I saw Hoyler Gracie eat a smoothie of cream cheese and watermelon.
Yeah, that's the two most common food groups you want to eat together: cheese and watermelon.
Really? Nice. I can get on this Gracie diet. Matt James, call me up, buddy. I want some help.
Steak and lager.
Let's go.
3-minute rounds. And it is for the vacant Ballerina regional featherweight title. Introducing first the fighter in the blue corner, weighing 56.4 kilograms, representing combat and exercise, Kyle Wilson. And his opponent, the fighter in the red corner, weighing 66 kilograms, representing Eclipse Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Matt James.
Everyone's been talking about this fight, Steve. Everyone's excited to see this one. This was the buzz. This could be an absolute war.
A top contender for fight of the night is Matt James versus Kyle Wilson for the vacant regional featherweight title.
Will we see a big knockout? Will we see some Gracie Jiu-Jitsu?
Let's see.
Oh, coming out strong. Coming
Big
out super
hands.
strong.
Trying to rock him early.
Great
Those punches
form,
are hitting the guard, but they're still coming through, and a right hand lands for Kyle Wilson as he's backing him up. He's backing up Matt James. Is there any wrestling in that Gracie Jiu-Jitsu? We're about to find out as he goes into the over-under.
Kyle Wilson needs to be careful not to punch himself out, but he's got the boxing gloves tattooed on his ribs. And although it was frantic, it was very technical, those boxing combinations he was throwing. But everything came off the forearms, off the gloves of Matthew James. And that's a good strategy. It's the kind of rope-a-dope, let him punch himself out.
Yeah, I was surprised at the composure there of Matthew James. Now he's slowing things up a little bit. There's a time and he's going over to the Oh, there's gum shield out now. Need a quick rinse.
This kind of plays into the hand maybe a little bit of Kyle Wilson, who was looking just slightly more tired of the two fighters.
It was a very feverish opening in the first round. Matt James opens up with a right knee up into the ribs. Matt James happy to slow the pace down, whereas Kyle Wilson should be probably looking to break
great
away.
knee. That snuck right up the middle, the knee of Matthew James off the fence. Anderson still with the style.
Cagecraft. Really good control here.
Another knee snuck up through the middle.
Kyle Wilson probably doesn't want to stay here anymore, but he's got that underhook, and it feels like a waste if you don't use it, as he drops down almost low enough to
Kyle
scoop
Wilson
up a single leg.
I think he needs to separate. You know, the bit of striking we've seen, he was winning by a comfortable margin. And in this clinch, he's getting kneed. You know, he is the one in the dominant position. He's holding Matthew James up, but maybe try to back away, do some dirty boxing, use some of that power.
I like what Matthew James is doing with that overhook. He's wrapping it, making it feel like Kyle Wilson can't just back away it. He's going to eat something, or he's going to be taken down.
Yeah, he's stretching out those ribs and landing his knees off the fence.
More of that muscle of Kyle Wilson coming into play as he tries to scoop up that leg. He does. Can he hop across and drop it?
It's a hard takedown to do, but I was watching a video of GSP drilling it. Oh, but he didn't do it like that. Kyle Wilson's head's in the right place. He's got pressure, but he doesn't seem to be able to finish this takedown. And Matthew James is just using the opportunity to land a good few knees.
Paul Nichols is all.
This could be a really exhausting position, though, Steve, because you know you can be using all your strength against them, and they're using all their strength against you. And it looks like not a lot is happening, but there's so much force being exerted.
There's definitely force on the part of Kyle Wilson, because he's pushing into the cage to hold Matthew James there. Matthew's merely leaning up against the cage. He's leaning backwards. He's not getting that push. He's not having to exert himself in that way. Paul Nichols looking very closely. I don't think he's probably looking to separate them.
But they're both being active. Matthew James landing knees. Kyle Wilson is pressing, looking for the takedown. There is action there.
Well, just based upon cage control, Kyle Wilson seems to have this round in the bag here as we come to the very final seconds.
Yeah, I mean,
Matthew
James did well. He doesn't look too tired at all, but neither does Kyle Wilson. I think they both paced themselves well. It's yeah, you have to give that round to Kyle Wilson. I mean, he came out strong. He landed big shots. Matthew James looked a little bit worried, but then against the cage, not a lot was happening. And that's it. Maybe this is a little bit of Kyle Wilson, his skill set. You know, he does have the boxing gloves tattoo. His striking looks so much better than his grappling. Maybe he just needs to stick there and box, you know, stick and move, use that jab and trying to avoid tying up with Matthew James, who's, you know, he's come out with Gracie shorts on. It's a bit of a giveaway of the thing he's good at. But we know both these guys, experienced veterans of Battle Arena. They've been doing their cardio, they've been doing all those late night long runs, getting fit enough to go 3 hard rounds. Or is it 5 right hard? Changed up. Will we say the same from Kyle Wilson? Will he come out blasting punches again? Will Matthew James shoot for a takedown, mix it up?
Yeah, I want to see something different from Matthew James, a different look, just not standing toe-to-toe, and then he's got the body lock. He just couldn't connect his hands fast enough. Kyle Wilson, so strong, and he gets hip-tossed brilliantly into the ground.
Fantastic takedown from Matthew James. And look, that Gracie Jiu-Jitsu side control, straightaway pressure instantly to mount, but he was a bit too rushed and then got caught in half guard because of it.
I really like half guard from an MMA standpoint, Chris, because I always like to just sit back and just smash him in the head.
Especially if they reach for that leg, like
I don't know. I have no idea what he's doing there.
That's very, very risky.
Because I'd like to see Matthew James come over the top with his right hand right now.
Yeah. Kyle Wilson reaching for that leg. It's a good jiu-jitsu move. You know, it's kind of a 10th planet sweep we sometimes look at, but it's not good when they're allowed to punch you in the face because your face is very, very open. Now he's got both arms isolated. He could be getting left hammer fist to the face. Oh, great work by Matthew James.
He's just using such strength to turtle himself up.
Kyle Wilson struggling now. He's got Matthew James on his back, hooks in. He's a little bit to the side. That might be the saving grace for Kyle Wilson. If he can get his shoulders to the mat, try and lay flat. Matthew James recognises it and goes straight back to mount. So
now he's got to hold on to this position. Does he want to settle in for Grapevines? He's got him against the fence here, pushing his head into the fence. Matthew James looking to claim this featherweight title here in the second round.
And this is exhausting for Kyle. He got this. Oh, but he's reversed it.
So strong is Kyle Wilson. He won't be put out so easily.
Now let's look at the guard of Matthew James. I mean, he's got those Gracie shorts on. Will he be able to set up a triangle choke here? He's looking for it. He's trying to stuff the arm in. The cage is kind of in his way, make it difficult. But you see that arm behind his back? I think he's trying to work his right leg up over the back of his opponent's neck and then be able to lock in a triangle choke.
He needs to rotate, as you said, Chris. Matt James needs to rotate away from the cage in order to get his hips moving, because he's got his whole hips closed down on his right side there. Looking to land heel strikes.
Old school Hoist Gracie move. This is sometimes the thing that the in a jiu-jitsu school, you go near the wall, you'll stop and you'll just move back in the middle of the mat. When you're in a cage, if you're getting pressed against the cage, you've just got to work from there. You know, you can't reset back in the middle. So Matthew James needs to look for a stand-up, but he might be able to pick up an arm there or a triangle. Just that cage is just making it so difficult. Oh, great passing work from Kyle Wilson.
And now Kyle Wilson's in his game. He's just frantically landing left hands. He's in
Headlock.
that kind of schoolyard bully headlock position. And I'm sure Matt James is going to slip out the back. But no, he didn't. He doesn't.
Oh, but he might have a back take there. The arm is across. He's looking for it. The cage is the difficulty again. He's got his head and arm from the bottom position.
Head and arm triangle there from the bottom, almost. Just got to get his left arm deep.
It's going to be hard to do. Normally, if someone's arm's there, we try to sneak to the back, but the cage is in the way. What a very close round. 10 seconds left.
Good up kick there from Matt James. Kyle Wilson now landing 2, 3 left hands and puts an exclamation point on the end of that round.
Excellent work by both fighters. This is a Battle Arena. This is Battle Arena 50 at Edgbaston Stadium. This is our biggest Battle Arena event to date. We've got literally a bucket load of belts to give away this evening. Matthew James doing the work. Got a takedown. Big judo throw, but then Kyle Wilson reversed it. Got on top. Got his schoolyard bully headlock. Was trying to slam in some hammer fist. I think Matthew James, he's just struggling with the fence. Every time he's trying to set up these submissions, the fence is in the way and it's preventing him from getting the hip movement, getting his legs in the right place.
We're seeing a really brilliant display here from Kyle Wilson of Combat and Exercise. He's using his short, stocky, very compact figure to close the distance on Matt James and really punish him, whether it's up against the fence in the first round or even on the ground there in the second. He's able to kind of roll himself into a little ball and just, like a snowman, he just continues to get better. And Matt James having to take the stool there, wondering how his fatigue is going to play in as we go into this, the third of 5 rounds here for the Battle Arena Featherweight Regional title.
Now, Kyle Wilson has come out like a bull in a china shop for 2 rounds so far. Will he do it for 3?
Oh,
yes, he does.
He does, but he's got his mouth open. He's taking a big breath.
He does hit like a truck.
This is awesome, toe-to-toe stuff. Both these men. Paul Nichols saw that knee came up a bit low.
Oh, look at this. Fighting for head position, fighting for underhooks.
Good knees from Matt. Now Matt James has Kyle Wilson pressed against the cage door. Kyle Wilson ever so easily and ever so strongly is able to reverse the position.
It's worrying how easy he found that reversal. Just a little bit stronger, maybe.
Sometimes you grab a hold of someone, he could be the same weight, same age, same size as you, and he just seems to be 10%, 20% stronger, and I think that's what Matt James is experiencing in Kyle Wilson. Matt James is going to have to be crafty if he wants to win this one.
He's got to go for something quick here. Flying triangle, I think. I'm calling it.
A la Paddy Pimblett.
I'm optimistic. Kyle Wilson.
Oh, big knee by Matt James.
Kyle Wilson, see that boxing?
Dirty
He's
boxing.
winning every time. He needs to stick with that.
The dirty boxing knee, beautiful.
Great knees.
There you go. Both of them using that tie clinch to land knees. Kyle Wilson.
Oh, he went for it. It was very, very close.
Tripping position now.
Matthew James now the aggressor pressing against the fence.
I think Matthew James, his head is out of position on all of these clinches so far. And it's going to take Kyle Wilson a few moments, but I bet you he gets his head position back in. You see, there he is. He's fighting for that head position. He needs to drop the nut of his head down into the neck of Matthew James, and there he's able to reverse it again. Ever so easily here with a minute left in the third round. Kyle Wilson, he's got to be making a statement here. Well, he goes down low for the leg, but Matthew James hikes him back up.
Matthew James' corner, they've got to know he's a couple of rounds down. I would be calling for my fighter to pull guard or just go for something brave. Let's throw up a submission. Let's try and separate. Let's try and do some dirty boxing. Throw some knees. Get off this cage.
But we can't throw caution to win right now because we still have 2 more rounds. It's hard to say. You do want to make a change. Oh, he seems to be wrapping.
Kimura.
Maybe looking for a Kimura on the far side.
Looking to lock up the arm.
He does have it locked. He's fallen in
cage
now.
Again. Matthew's cursed by the cage. Every time he's got submission, that fence is in the way.
I'd like to see Matthew almost move himself into a side, accept side control, and then really use that Kimura trap to push Kyle Wilson up and over. He's got very little of anything there, unfortunately, in those last few seconds.
Now, this is a title fight, Steve. So normally at 3 rounds we'd be done. We'd be handing out some trophies. This is 5 rounds of war.
Oh, we do. And these boys want it. Where else would they be, Chris? They have to be here.
And this is what separates the men from the boys. You know, 3 rounds. Anyone that hasn't done this, it is so utterly exhausting. And these, you know, we've been in there, Steve. You do weeks and weeks of hill sprints, cardio, kettlebells, training, sparring, round after round after round. And you think you're in peak condition, and then you get halfway through round 1 and you think, I can't be this tired already. And now we're going into round 4. These guys are going to be exhausted.
These are the championship rounds, Chris, as you're saying.
We will see who's got the bigger heart, who's been training a little bit harder. Just putting that little bit more effort in the training camp can make all the difference now in rounds 4 and 5.
And staying calm in there, because you want to give it your all. You want to run that race car into the red, and you need to understand that you've got 5 rounds possibly to fight it out. I only went to decision once in my entire MMA career out of 11 fights, and it was exhausting. But at the final round, I was still standing there, and I still wanted more. And that's what these guys want. They're so happy to just be in there and fight.
That was why I was so surprised. Kyle Wilson came out so strong in round 1. He didn't look like he was pacing himself. He looked like a man that was convinced he could put his opponent away in the first minute, and he maybe nearly did. He was landing some big shots, but Matthew Jones weathered the storm, and he's had his moments, and Kyle Wilson's had his moments as well. It's a very closely contested title fight at Battle Arena.
It is closely contested, but it seems that Kyle Wilson is just getting the better. Out of every round, they just have if you look at the entire fight so far, yes, it's a bit close, but Kyle Wilson's definitely made the statement in every single round, whether it's with ground and pound, position, or takedown. Exactly, separate here, good. And a big...
Oh, great work.
Good.
Oh, but is he in on the guillotine? It's an arm-in guillotine.
Very hard to finish.
Pushes head out.
Very good.
Now let's see if Matthew James can get his passing game going. Lands the ground and pound, get past those legs, get to a dominant position. Oh, looking for the armbar, Kyle Wilson.
Now we'll see how Matt James's top game is. Kyle Wilson's bottom game, maybe even. Kyle Wilson's working a very high guard there.
It's a good time. I mean, Matthew James needs to focus on his posture just a little bit more. He's very bent up. Even if you want ground and pound going, you want to be taller so you can bring your weight down and slam it in. Kyle Wilson trying to hook that leg so he can get an angle and look for submission, but it's going to be very hard to do on someone as experienced as Matthew James. We call this position in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu closed guard. So Kyle Wilson on the bottom's got his feet tied together, and he has a lot of submission options, but Matthew James on the top, his only option is ground and pound or try and get past those legs.
Exactly. Pound your way out of those legs. Make him hurt, make him feel like he has to open up and make a mistake or go for a submission that's not there, and you can easily pass them and then do more damage in the other series of pins that are out there. Matthew James just seems to be very content here to put pressure on Kyle Wilson and land some big strikes up through the middle.
And what the guy on top wants to do is stay straight. He wants to be straight on. That means he can put pressure, ground and pound. And the guy on the bottom wants to get an angle. That's why we're seeing Kyle Wilson try and hook that leg like he's doing now. And he's trying to drag himself out so he can get an
Oh
angle.
dear,
And get a
oh dear.
submission. The Gracie fighter's in trouble. He should be able to get out of that armbar if he steps over.
Oh, what a armbar finish.
Oh, tapped.
He felt the pop, I'm sure Kyle Wilson did. Oh, wow. What a good armbar. You can't get lazy in that position with such a high guard as you're standing up. A very, very well-rounded performance by Kyle Wilson. And he's your new Battle Arena regional champion. An excellent performance. And I'm sure we're going to see Matthew James right back in here very soon, looking to redeem himself. Excellent performance from both fighters.
Kyle Wilson, very happy about his win. I mean, this is his step. This is his step to regional title, national title, European title. Then moving on to the big shows. You know, got plans. Future world champion. Especially with those dynamite hands he has. That's the thing. I was so impressed by his boxing, and then he goes and wins by submission.
Exactly, showing that he can take it anywhere. And here comes the belt. Everybody wants the belt.
But it's so disheartening. You do all that training, you dream of wearing that Battle Arena belt, and then just at the last second, just you zig when you should zag, and then you're just watching your arm be pulled straight, and it's all over. Luckily, I always wanted you.
Maybe that's why we don't fight anymore, Chris.
Because we're retired.
I often think about that. If the victories are too easy to come by, stops you from coming back.
And 35 seconds of the third round, we have your winner, via armbar, and new Battle Arena Regional Featherweight Champion, Kyle Wilson. And please make some noise for Matt James. Kyle, come and have a chat, buddy. New Battle Arena Regional Champion, how's that feeling for you right now?
Great, I've trained in martial arts for so many years, sacrificed so much, never felt like I've had something to prove it, but now I do.
You're hungry.
So first couple of rounds were quite tight, a little bit back and forth, and then obviously third round, you were looking for that armbar for quite a while. Is it something you work on a lot in training camp?
I've won all my fights by armbar. Just a coincidence, I can't get armbar from any of my training partners down the gym, they're all such high-level jiu-jitsu practitioners. So it's just something I seem to be able to put up in fights, not something I just don't necessarily work.
Well, it was a great contest and a great win. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for Kyle Wilson.